insight video today, and I've just woken up today. I've just done a little bit of sort of like qigong this morning just to get my energy flowing. As I was sitting there just like doing a few exercises this morning, I was just feeling the energy and feeling like the insights and the information coming through this morning, and it was very much around sort of like consciousness. Consciousness is energy, it's vibration, it's frequency, and sort of like I felt like I was being directed today. Sort of like again, it connects back to this sense of like creation and like the creator within each and every one of us. And this is a different shift, like in the vibrations and the energy that we've got now. I mean, for a long time we sort of we haven't passively gone through life, but sort of as spiritual beings, we've always talked about like the law of attraction, like a manifestation, and sort of like visualization, and using these kind of tools in a way of trying to bring energy through. But the sort of like the shift and changes, like when they start to, a lot of people have been talking about like sixth dimension. They've been talking about sort of creation, and they've been talking about light and energy in that way, and there's a lot of talk within sort of like spiritual realities and spiritual realms at the moment. Not spiritual reality, but like on the earth plane, they're talking about creation, and they're also talking about like the fifth dimension, the fact that that the spirit world and sort of like the physical world are connected. Like, to me, the fifth dimension is like heaven on earth, which is very much symbolic of opening up and channels opening up, so we start to connect more into light and energy, and we start to connect into our spiritual sort of essence, our spiritual vibration and our spiritual frequency, and we start to awaken and realize that we're light and energy, and that we're walking in light and energy. Again, this connects to the ascended master of Lord Lanto, which was illumination, which is very much around sort of like source energy and the vibration of frequency, and the fact that we're light and energy. And the illumination is the understanding, it's having the wisdom and and sort of the awareness that you're light and energy, and that everything is light and energy. So in that sense, we start to walk and express it, and we express it and we allow it to flow into our energy field, and then we express it consciously within our lives. And this is where the conscious bit comes in. Consciousness is light and energy, and it's like when we connect to source light and energy, we start to connect to the creator aspect of self, which is this infinite self that can create and manifest and sort of attract. But it's not even like when we talk about the law of attraction, in the sense, this to me is the next evolution, because attraction is attracting something to you, as like with creation and the creator aspect of the infinite self. You manifest it, and you're not trying to attract it to you, you're creating it from your source, from your energy, from your light, from your center. And I think this is the shift. The shift is like, first of all, the awareness, and then it's like it's shifting through doubt, it's shifting through fears, it's the understanding that you're an infinite being. And this, I also think, connects into where the higher self comes in. The higher self knows that all sort of matter is energy and light. And again, this connects to alchemy. This connects to alchemy in the sense of the alchemists, or the spiritual alchemists, were beings that understood that they had like this creative or creator sort of aspect to self, so they could create and manifest something. You're not attracting it, you're creating it from source. And again, this connects to the universal law of correspondence, where this sacred space where you start to shift and change. And this is the conscious shift and the spiritual sort of evolution, I believe, like that is being sort of like given to us at the moment, that we understand that all matter is just energy, energy vibrating on frequency. And when you can start to shift and change your frequency, and this is all around sort of, again, so I'm starting to talk about this, I'm sort of, I've got the the letters HZ coming to my mind, which is hertz. And like, you see this in like many spiritual videos where they're talking about hertz, and they're talking about sound frequencies, they're talking about like hertz having this sound, and it creates harmony, or it creates a space. And to me, this is how it works. As you turn like a dial, or like say you were turning a radio and you were trying to tune in It's very much around that, and the hertz is very much around that. It's different frequencies, and we're being given these higher frequencies at the moment to start to open up, shift and change. And like I said, with the alchemists and the spiritual alchemists, they very much understood, and the masters understood, they were creating their reality. They weren't, it's not something that was happening to them, it was something they were creating. And I think the law of attraction in that way, if you're waiting for something to happen, you can create the space and you can create a vibration and a frequency, to attract something. But if you create it and manifest it, in a sense, you're creating that reality. And this is where the shifting and changing things that will come in. And I think this again connects to Al Moira and the understanding of the divine intelligence, the divine flow, that things are flowing into your life, and you're part of this infinite flow of source light in creation, and that you have the ability to shift and change at will. And this is where alchemy comes in again, and this is where it shifts and changes, and it comes into consciousness. Being conscious is using your energy in a way that you consciously shift and change something. So it's the transmutation again, which transforms. It transforms reality. It transforms our thoughts. It transforms our emotions, and it transforms. And transformation and transmutation are interlinked. They are like they are in harmony together, because transformation, when you shift and use your consciousness in a way that you shift and change your reality, then what you go to a different state of being. You go to a different state of vibration, of light and energy, and a different way of being, a different way of seeing, and applying wisdom in your life. And this is where the transmutation comes in, because transmutation is like transforming from one state of being to another. So it's going from one frequency, or one frequency or vibration, to another higher vibration. And again, this is where consciousness very much is part of that process, because consciousness is this energy that's vibrating around. And each of us has like a human mind, but we also have like a universal mind, like this infinite mind. And the infinite mind is connected to source, and it sees no limitations, it sees no boundaries, and it doesn't see the world in a way of good and bad. It just sees it as part of one vibration. But it also knows at any time, at any moment, in any second, you can shift and change things at will. And this is what the masters did. The masters understood this, that they understood that they were these spiritual beings of vibration and frequency, and they could shift and change their reality. They understood they can master the things. So when things come into their life that were difficult or were hard, they used their source energy to create, shift and change that, and still remain aligned and connected in their energy, in their frequency, connected to that source energy, that source light. And this is what the angels bring. The archangels bring this. The archangels bring harmony, balance, peace, understanding, wisdom. They exist in a very, very different sort of like frequency than us. They're in like the oneness vibration, the oneness frequency of light and energy. And the whole sort of like purpose of all of us, for each and every being here, is to come back into that harmony, come back into that source energy. We are supposed to walk in light and energy, and this is what the Ascended Master, or the Ascended Master, Master Jesus, taught us, that with presence and peace and harmony and light and energy and healing, he was applying wisdom. He was applying his source energy to each person, each being, to see their light, see their energy, and help to sort of like heal them, to bring balance, to bring peace, bring harmony again. And this is what this time's about, and this is why we're here, and this is why anchoring is so important as well. Anchoring in the energy every day, walking around. Like the last few days, like I went back to work yesterday, and I hadn't been very well for a few days. And you come in, and I come into my workspace again. The first thing I do is try and bring that energy and anchor it in. I walk to each room, and I imagine anchoring in all the infinite beings of light, the infinite beings of energy, and in there. And I sort of like, I work with people with disabilities and autism and things like that. So for me, it's like creating a sacred space of harmony, but it's also seeing that they're light beings as well. They're light beings of energy. They're the same. We're not separate. We're the same. They're still part of the same source. So for me, I, it's about creating that sacred space. So I walk into each room and I bring energy, light and energy into it, and I think about the staff members, and I think about the individuals that we're working with to support, and we're the same. And I imagine them being harmonized in the light, and then we're being one vibration. We're no different. The physical is just it's just like a suit or a skin that we walk around, but inside we're all the same. We're all this light, we're this energy. And this is the shift in consciousness. When you start to go to a oneness vibration, you realize we're all, everything is this, and everything is on that, is part of that source creation vibration. um, you know Plants, animals, um, you know trees, everything, they're just vibrating in that frequency, and it's about that shift in consciousness. And when you know that, then you know everything is vibrating as one. But you also know that consciously, like what I felt this morning was I was being sort of directed to consciously create a reality. Now, consciousness to me, I have an understanding of it, but when you're practically or using the energy in a way that you're consciously shifting and changing, so visualizing a reality, use your consciousness to create a reality. And this is what they've been showing me for quite a while when I go into work. It's about consciously creating a reality with that energy, with that source light creation, with that source energy, that source center that each and every one of us have got. You are not powerless, you are powerful, and you're an infinite being of light and energy and creation. And again, this is that shift, it's the understanding um, that you're not limited, you're infinite. And that's a big shift when you start to really open up to it. I try and walk around in this day, and in my days, and I try and walk around that vibration. I try and feel that light vibrating in my energy, because I'm that source light and vibration. It's not even like I try to. It's there, and it's about me sort of like more and more sort of becoming aware of it, and then walking as it, instead of sort of becoming caught up in all the daily things that go on. And this is what I feel the masters did, and that's the master's path, and we're all on that path. We're all on that ascension path, back to light, back to wholeness, back to this oneness vibration. And this is what this time's about, and this is what, so for me it's like consciousness. People, how use your energy, but all consciously see what you're creating, consciously see um, what's in your life, and consciously see how you can approach it, what you can do with it. Look at the vibe. Again, this source light and energy is this infinite light that we're all born from. It's like the treat it is like a father pet, it's like a parent, that we're all born from. So we're always loved, we're always sort of like connected. And I suppose in a way it's like, well, when you come across a situation that is affecting you or impacting you, how can you affect it, how can you approach it unconditionally, how can you approach it from an unconditional place? Not seeing it as like, not seeing how it impacts you, or not seeing about the effect of it. Because a lot of time we sort of like, we look at a situation and we start to then become attached to it. We attach to the outcomes because of how it impacts us. Now, if you were to sit there and completely shift your viewpoint and see about how you could approach it unconditionally, to see what the highest outcome is, then you would start to connect and step into that source energy, which is this infinite energy that will allow you to see the outcome, see what the opportunity is, see what the outcome is, in a way that it's unconditional. It's not about how it affects you. It's about what's the greatest good that can come out of this. What's the possibility that can come out of this. How you can approach it in a way that you can consciously look at trying to see. Look at the other person in the situation. Look at them unconditionally, and like, how would you approach that unconditionally? And what do you feel is the best approach for that? And when we shift and change our consciousness in that way, we become more aligned with that source energy, and we become more open to receive that information, that insight, that wisdom, Because when you start to step into the unconditional, you start to connect to source light, and the source light and energy and creation will open up your energy field to receive the insight, the message, or the learning, or what you can do um, to apply to that situation. So it's about opening up and becoming these channels again, and then we consciously live, and we consciously create in harmony, and we consciously create unconditionally in a way that we become more spiritually aligned, but we also then more spiritually align our reality. And this is what consciousness is about, and this is what consciousness creates when we're in that source light in creation. That's the insight for today.